Welcome back. I'm TimeWillTellAll and you're watching my Let's Play guide for Minecraft SkyFactory 3. On the last episode, we improved our mob drops and our loot bag compacting. So I set this up to open only uncommon bags, and we've sorted that out since then. I've moved all of the drops over to my drawers, and I've updated my filters to pretty much handle all of those drops. So I don't really need the uncommons anymore. We've got everything from it that we could, or that I've could. So now I've changed it over to take rares and to not take rares into here anymore. We have 10 legendaries at the moment. So when we stop opening the rares, then we'll start taking them all through and upgrading them to epics. Do the same until we've got everything we need from there, and then legendaries. In between, I also added 2 drawers, one compacting drawer for Inferium and one drawer for Ender Pearls, because we get a lot of those and we'll use them later for a generator, and the Inferium will be for farming. Last episode we also updated our farm so that we are now automatically bone mealing the seeds to get more seeds and wheat, and the seeds we feed into these chicken feeders, and what's happening is actually they're over full now. We're getting seeds and wheat in our storage crate. So if you have enough bone white chickens, it's definitely able to keep up with it, and if anything, over produce. And we also set up our first fluid transformation methods. So we did our witch water, which we're going to use for our mob farm. We also did our fire water, which I've replaced all of the liquids under the crucibles with fire water. So you can see the rate is now 8 times. Same over here for our lava. So this is now generating even quicker. And this episode, we are finally going to deal with our drawers, because this has just become a mess. Or not so much a mess, but it's just become hard to deal with. And we can make something which is called the drawer controller, which will really allow us to interface with the drawers a lot easier. And the thing that we were waiting for was diamond, which we get from sieving and from our mob farm rarely, and nether quartz, which we get from our mob farm loot bags at the moment. So we have enough to actually try to make our drawer controller now. So let me grab some nether quartz. Let me just put away some of this stuff as well, because we don't need to have it all on us at this moment, although we're going to use that. I'll put that there for now. So we're going to take our redstone torches. We are going to make our drawer controller, which needs comparators. So let's just make, I'm going to make 4 of those, because we need 2 for our slave as well. So we can make our drawer controller. Alongside this, we're going to make our controller slave, which is exactly the same recipe, just with gold instead of diamond. I'll put those away. What this will allow us to do is, just as I just right click there to put away my nether quartz, when I connect this drawer controller and I put the trim to make sure every single drawer is connected, and also because I didn't like the slabs in the middle, so I put trim here. But a drawer controller means I can double right click the drawer controller, and anything I've got in my bag, my inventory, that matches anything in the drawers will automatically be taken out and put into those drawers. You can also lock the drawer controller, which will lock the drawers. And if you lock the drawers, even if you lock them as empty, then the drawer controller will never fill them. So you can manage how you want. And what I like to do sometimes is, for example, I've got certain resources here and here, and I've got the metals here. I'll lock all of the ones that I know I want to keep like that, and I'll leave an area unlocked, so I can just dump a bag of stuff into this. You can't do it in that way. What you'll need to do, and I'm going to be doing it here instead of to the controller, but the same thing applies, is you need to connect either your controller slave, which needs to be connected by touching the drawers or by the trim, and you need to connect that to an inventory. So for example, here I'm going to take my storage crate. Now, normally, if I double right click that, it will only take everything that's already in the drawers. But if I dump something in here that's not in the drawers, because the inventory is connected and it's going to take it out, it will actually extract that into the system. It will look for somewhere to put it. Not sure why that's not working. Should have done something just then. So let me just try with a chest. Maybe it doesn't interface with the storage crate very well. So the same idea applies. We'll stick the chest on there. We'll stick one of these transfer nodes. I feel like something should be happening and it's not happening, and that's completely wrong. For some reason... Ah, okay, I'm going to have to wait 5 seconds, that's probably why. But even then it should have worked already. And why have I got cobblestone? Where did that come from? Okay. So what I'm trying to show is that if I put an inventory here instead, you can pretty much come and dump your inventory into that. So if I put something that's not in the drawers, it will take it into the system and find an an empty unlocked drawer for it. So you could leave, for example, I'll probably leave this area unlocked, dump everything off from wherever I've come from. It will put everything in that it can, and then it will put everything else that's new, and I can choose where I want to sort that, which area I want to sort it into, if I even want to keep it. Because I could also filter from here into a trash can and take up specific things from the system. So I don't know why it didn't work with my controller slave, as that should have worked. Let me just test one more time. So we're going to put that there, we're going to put the chest on, and we're going to put a filter. Yes, okay. For some reason it didn't connect. You can do exactly the same with the draw controller that you can do with the slave, except this has the range. So I put this in the middle because there are 12 blocks from each side that this can connect to drawers that are connected to it. Whereas with the slave, it doesn't extend the range of that area. It just allows you to put items in like it was a controller, except that you can't double right click on it. So the controller is the most useful one. It's the lead, and it says 12 by 12, I can talk to the drawers, and the controller slaves allow us to automate the input or the extract of items. So for example, I could even extract into a trash can here instead from our drawer system. I added one more drawer onto this as well because we're up to quadruple compressed now, so we're on the way to our achievement. We just need octuple, and we also need some of this for our beneath portal. We're actually meant to be following through the achievement book as well, so I'm going to go through and tick off the stuff that we've done. We've crafted the cobblestone, we've sifted gravel, sand and dust, we've made Tinker's contract tools from bones or flint, we've made the smeltery, we've even automated that, we're automatically killing monsters. And some of the further stuff we'll be doing in further episodes. I'm going to do this one now. So upgrade an existing Tinker's tool with a metal part. So we've done our draw controller and our draw slave, and I've explained how they work. You can have them set up everywhere you want. So for example, I have some drawers over there. I could put a slave with it, a draw controller with it. Make sure you always have one draw controller. And I could put one in the chickens as well. And later we can use a different storage solution to connect all 3 drawer systems to each other. So what I'm going to do in this one is I'm going to show you one of the reasons why we've made our netherrack. So with netherrack, we can melt it down in our furnace, and from that we get nether brick. If we put them together, I need 8 of these. We make nether brick from nether brick, but we make a compacted version, I guess. And we can, in Tinker's, there is a new metal called demonic, and it has a very good durability for the handle of a Tinker's tool, and all it costs is some gold as long as you've got the nether brick. And you need to make basically an area to sacrifice your gold to, and then you have a chance that that gold will turn into a demonic ingot. You can't do it with blocks, you can only do it with ingots, so don't try and throw a block of gold into this. I'm just doing my water ladder technique so I don't go up, but again you can build this wherever you want as long as there are 8 bricks in the kind of, I say circle, but in an area together. And I'll just keep the water bucket there. It's always good to have water on us. We do need to get a bucket of lava, so we make basically our nether. Obviously first we fill it up. We make our nether eye and our altar. With the nether altar we then throw gold ingots in, and we have a chance for them to turn this fire and they come back out as demon ingots. They don't always work, and that's going to be more than enough. It's a useful material to have for your handles early on because of the durability you get from it. So what I'm going to do with those are I'm going to melt those down, and in between I also melted down a bit of obsidian, but I'm going to need to do a bit more of that as well. Which we'll do in a minute. We are going to upgrade our tools, our Tinker's tools. So we're going to add a binding in slime to our pickaxe. We are going to add a pickaxe head. as well, and we're going to make some obsidian heads as well. To do that, we need to make some casts. So let me just sort out this inventory a little bit because it's too many things and I don't have the space to do what I want to do. And we can even put the sand away for now. So to make the casts, we need to make base versions of each of the tool parts that we're going to want to cast. To do that, you can just make a wooden version. We're going to lose whatever we use, so don't make it out of anything that you don't want to lose from a resource perspective. Then all we do is we pour molten gold over that and we make a cast, just like we did previously to make our ingot cast. We do exactly the same thing to make our tool cast. So let's take that out of there. Let's put our tool on there, make sure gold is selected, pour gold on, and we will get our tool rod cast. So we have that, which is great. I'm going to leave that in there for the minute and I'm going to make another one. And while this one's pouring, I can explain one more thing. So I've melted down cobblestone, as I explained last episode, and I extracted it into blocks. The reason for this is we need it today to make something, but also we can extend our smeltery in any of our tinker's buildings using seared stone, so just melted cobble poured back into blocks, instead of needing to make grout and cook it all up. So it's an advantage here that you can, it's just easier to do if you've got a supply of cobble than having to use everything to make grout. And our step ladder is still coming in handy, although it's disappeared. Notice that. Okay, no, we don't want a torch cast, so let's just put that in there as well. And what this will allow us to do in this episode is tick off another achievement, because one of the achievements is to make a tool with a metal part. It will also upgrade our tools, and we are going to upgrade our pickaxe to have silk touch. To do this, we need to make a silky jewel, and silky jewel is emeralds and silky cloth, and silky cloth is just gold and string, which we've got a lot of. So if we do that, we can make our silky jewel. And I believe we've only got one more part here to make, which is great. And that should have all melted, so I can probably throw in my obsidian now, and hopefully that will melt in the time that I need it to. So we've got our casts. While that pours, I'm going to go and make the binding. So for me, I didn't actually need the binding cast. The binding I'm going to be making out of green slime because it's good durability for a binding. To do that, we're going to use the green slime crystal, which you can get from melting slimy dirt, or you can just get it from the mob farm. I've got loads of crystals from opening all those loot bags. That's one part of our pick. That's an upgrade for our pick. We have our pickaxe head there. We have some molten obsidian, so let's make our pickaxe head. Should get automatically extracted out as well. It just takes a little while to do it. Let me check. The obsidian should be done in time to make the next two as well. So we've done our pickaxe head and we can leave it just in this chest for the future. Going to do a shovel head out of molten obsidian as well as the axe head. Just so that we have the highest level mining for our tools. There we go. Shovel's done as well. Can get up to our axe. I think the rest of that went in. Yeah, 7 blocks of molten obsidian, definitely more than enough to make our tool heads. Then, actually I don't need the binding cast, but we have it for the future when we use it. For the tool rods, we're going to make them out of demon ingots. And we have more than enough of that as well. And you see why I use this tank is because if all of that was in there and we put anything else in, if any of them could mix with gold, obsidian or demon metal, we would lose the individuals because it would mix and turn into a different ally. And while we're away, I'll just put the ingot cast back on because that's going to be the one that we use the most. Grab all of our tools. Go over here and let's build our tools. So we are going to upgrade our pickaxe. Firstly, obsidian head. Secondly, slime binding. And thirdly, demonic tool rod. and you can see the durability has gone up, the mining speed and the mining level. On top of that, we're going to add a silky jewel. We have a modifier slot, so we're able to use that. And even though it's not at the level that I want it to be, we're going to automate the tool experience a bit later on. We're going to upgrade our mattock as well with the parts. We have obsidian coming in all the time now, so for example this needs to be repaired. We have a lot of obsidian. We can just stick a stack of it on that table and we can repair both tools now very easily, and they will work quicker than before. And that is not the table, that is the table, which is great. And we will actually level them up and make them unbreakable at some point, but for the moment the silky touch will let us make sure we don't break anything that we do want to collect, and the mattock will just allow us to do everything else and at a faster pace now. So I'll tick off make the demonic ingots, upgrade the pickaxe with metal and silk touch. Now we can also tick this off as well. So we finished the Stone Age except for enchanting a sieve mesh, which we'll be doing in the next episode along with some farming, so we will progress through here. I'm also going to automate some soul sand. So to do that, we need firstly to use this to grab mycelium, otherwise it will grab it as dirt. I just replaced a bit of dirt there and that will return it into it. Going to stick the mycelium below here. We are going to stick a fluid transfer node on here, and we're going to stick a stone barrel. So now it will start to turn that into witch water, and all we need to do is put sand into that to then get our soul sand, so we can automate soul sand. So I am going to put that away because I don't need that. Because I want to keep it in the same kind of layout, I'm actually going to use an item transfer node here. We're going to put a pipe on there. I need to get my wrench out as well. Doesn't need to connect into the sink, so let's take that off. And we're going to stick a drawer just above it, above it. So this is where going to be where our soul sand goes. So we also need, obviously, something to feed the soul sand into the barrel. So I'll stick one preferably facing the right way up there. No. Oh god, okay. Alright, we got it eventually. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong, but we did get it eventually. We'll use our step ladder to fix that mess that we have just caused in such a horrible way. And on top of that, so when that transforms, am I stuck? Yes, I am. So I'm going to have to break this anyway and hopefully put it away correctly. So we're going to want to feed sand into there, which means we're going to want a pipe going in. We're going to want it not connected to any of this stuff. We are also going to want a hatchery nest so that we can automate it with our sand chicken, and that will just be sitting on top along with a trash can behind it. I know I have one there, but we have loads of resources, so we might as well make the most of it. And transfer node so that we can take it out of our drawer, which I need to go and put up again. So let's stick the drawer on here. So we're going to feed sand into this drawer, and from there we're going to pull it out, put it into the bucket, and from the bucket it will turn it, after it's transformed, into soul sand. Yeah. Do not want those to connect. Be careful where you right click. Do not want to accidentally remove another filter. Okay, and okay, there we go. On top of that I need to stick yes, so we need to stick the nesting pen on top of there, but I need to make sure that I give it a transfer node. Am I going to need to break this to get down underneath? No, I can do it from the other side. So we will stick the nesting pen on here as well, but first we want to stick a flat transfer node in the middle with a filter, because we want to make sure we take sand down and everything else here. So let's go and grab some sand as well. And our slimy boots doing work there. One of the reasons why I have them on. So let's set up our filter. Oh, come on, it's always raining. I hate this biome. it will be useful if it starts thundering and we get attacked by skeleton horsemen, because it will be interesting and I can show you the fun way to deal with them. But until that point, so we're going to blacklist sand, but everything else can go through. Until that point, it's just annoying and depressing watching it every single episode with rain and thunder. It's like living in the UK, which is where I currently live. It's nice to not have to look at that all the time. So we are going to take from the nesting pen, we're going to put that to say do not take sand. We'll stick the nesting pen on top of here as well. We can stick our sand chicken into there. We can do the chicken trick as well if we want to speed it up. We do want to make sure that we're not taking anything into there, so to do that, ooh, bouncy bouncy. We want to stick our transfer node underneath this and hold shift so I do not fall off that edge. There we go, and in that transfer node we want to only take sand, so we need to make our filter, we need to whitelist it this time. Look into our transfer node and stick our filter in there. So we'll take sand from the sand chicken, we'll put it into a witch water barrel, then from that barrel we'll take it out and take that off. We'll take it out and it will be soul sand. And I'm just going to clear the filter for now. I'll put away everything that I've got just to keep things nice and organized. So we've now automated soul sand. I do want to show you it in progress, but at least we can get this chicken laying sand so we can see the sand, which we won't be able to see because it's going to stay in the transfer node anyway. But we'll be able to see it in the transfer node at least. If I can get down underneath, transfer node, so the sand will come from there, it will get put into the barrel. When that's finally witch water, it will extract the soul sand into that. So we have now automated soul sand as well. More and more things opening up to us, more and more resources. So I'm going to tick off the automation of soul sand. And now we're going to get to power. So I know it's been requested quite a bit. There are many options. I'm going to make a separate video on many different ways of dealing with the generators. I'm just going to show you the ones that I'm going to use because this is the quickest way for me to progress with the power. So normally you could have made a lava generator. It's probably the easiest one with just copper, iron, lapis and redstone and some electrum plates, which is just a mix of gold and silver, which you can do in the smeltery, and an engineer's hammer, or a magmatic, which is also a lava generator but from a different mod pack, which is a bit simpler to make, just a few levels, furnace, machine block. What I'm going to do straight away, because we already have redstone, is I'm going to make a heated redstone generator. This one is just one level above the magmatic, so we need to firstly make machine block to make a furnace generator. I think I've already made the furnace generator, yeah. Then we need to put the furnace generator with a lava bucket, some gold and redstone to make our magmatic generator. So let's get that done. We need a bucket. We've got redstone and gold there. Let me just put away my wrench and my animal net and get the bucket out. Good, we have constant supply of lava. So now we can make our magmatic, which is one that you may use as well, because you can easily feed. The reason why the lava generators are very useful is because you can do a setup like that, and 1, 2 crucibles with fire water will easily feed a generator, which will then give you power. And if you haven't checked it out, check out my file that I have on the description, because it has all of the power generators except for the last 2 that you can make in the pack, which I've updated. So I can show you if you want a specific power 60 RF, 40 RF, and exactly how you can get it and which generator can give you it. So we're going to go one higher. We're going to go to the heated redstone generator, which is a block of redstone and redstone. And we have loads of redstone, so we don't have to worry about turning some into blocks. We may use it a bit later on as well. So let's make our heated redstone generator. So this is great. And I will actually go over here, because we only need to use this temporarily. I'm going to stick this, I guess I'll stick it here actually. For the moment. No, I'm going to stick it on here because this is just going to be a temporary solution anyway. And what this will do is I can use this, I can configure that to push into here. So now this will fill with lava. We've got our redstone chicken up there, so we can just grab some redstone, throw a stack in here. We now have RF generating, and the redstone generator, if I quickly check my file, will provide us with I can't actually see it. The heated redstone generator will provide us with 160 RF a tick, which is more than we need for what we're doing now, but I just wanted to show you one of the upgrade options that you can deal with. You can feed in redstone, and if you've started with lava, this is the natural progression. And you can get a lot of RF. 160 will feed 8 automatic hammers or sieves, for example. What we're going to want to do to get to the next level of power gen very quickly is to, and also to be ready for some other things, is to make a sag mill. So one of our first machines, just machine chassis, flint and pistons. I believe I have pistons because I made a lot of extra pistons. We don't need that manure. So I'm going to need to grab some flint. And we're going to need to make a machine chassis, which is just iron and basic capacitors. And basic capacitors we've got from our mob farm, so we don't have to mess about making them. If you did need to make them, they are just copper, gold and redstone, so they're quite easy to make. So we need to make our machine chassis, which is also with some iron bars, so we'll get those out. And I believe I need one more of these because I'm also going to make the alloy smelter, and that also needs a machine chassis. So I'm going to make two machine chassis. Can I please have that back? I actually don't know what I just threw. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, I didn't lose too much. So we're going to make our alloy smelter and our sag mill. So we need two machine chassis. Then for our sag mill, which will allow us to break things down technically further than a hammer can, because it will give us dust from things, but they're types of dust instead of the dust we get from cobble. So we have our sag mill. Then we also need our alloy smelter, which will allow us to mix metals together in a similar way that the Tinker Smeltery does, but the Tinker Smeltery won't do all of them. The alloy smelter will. So for here we have some compressed. I need 3. Oh, actually I don't need any of them because I already have cobblestone in my inventory. So I need to make 3 furnaces. And then we need to make a cauldron. And then we should now be able to make our alloy smelter. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tick off the heated redstone generator, the sag mill and the alloy smelter, and I'm also going to make our basic capacitor bank. So basic capacitors are basically energy storage, and I will be adding energy storage to the file as well. The good thing about these, we'll only make, we'll make 2 because we'll need more anyway, is that you can connect one and it will hold a certain amount, and you can connect another one to it and it will just extend itself. It's like an extended battery. So here, do I have any reason to get in there? Not really. I guess I can take lava from there for now. We will move this, but I just want to show you how and the reason why. So I'm going to stick the sag mill on the side of this. That's now powering that, and I'm going to stick the alloy smelter on the top of this. So these machines are now being powered by our magmatic generator, and they can take in a maximum of 20 RF per tick, although it's actually going up quicker than 20. So no, it can give out, it can take in 20, but for some reason it's taking in more. So you see that's draining very quickly. These will keep up. These will take all the energy, but this will keep up with it. And the reason why we're going to make those, and actually I was going to use the battery, but I'm not going to use it here because we're just going to have this temporarily set up. I want to make some coal sand, I believe it is, coal powder, coal, crushed coal. Right. We want to get to dark steel. To get to dark steel, we need to put in our sag mill, coal and we need to crush it down because this will get us one of the ingredients we need. So we've got coal powder here to make our enchanter, which is what we're going to be doing for our enchanted meshes and our tools. We need dark steel, and dark steel is an ally of some crushed coal or coal powder. For example, with obsidian and iron, we have obsidian gem, we have constant iron from chickens or sieving. So we only need the coal powder, and the easiest way to get that is crushing coal in a sag mill. On top of that, we need to crush prismarine shards to crystals, but we'll do that in a different episode because we'll be using that for our farming improvements. So I'm going to tick off our basic capacitor banks, and I swear it started raining 3 times in one episode. This is what I have to deal with at the moment. I think next time I do a series, I'm going to make sure my biome is a happy, sunny place. So the sag mill is getting to work, and we can also auto output. So you can right click on that, configure, you can output and input energy and items. So we can put an inventory on there, but for the moment, this is just temporary. I'm going to have an area for our machines. Just wanted to get it working. So we'll have coal powder coming here, and then we'll mix the coal powder with obsidian and iron up there to get our dark steel. So that will be in a future episode. It's just ready, and it's one of the generators that you can use easily if you've been following along, because you have more than enough redstone and lava generation. And that will, see, it gets to the point once it's actually filled them, because it will transfer energy quicker, that it will actually have even more to give because they don't take enough energy to empty that. So the next thing that I'm going to make is basically probably the most overpowered energy source early on. And it is the solar array tier 1. Now to do that, we are going to first make the book because it will be very useful for you to see the book. So the book is the digital guide, which just needs some hardened stone and a book. Hardened stone is stone and cobblestone. So I'm going to put away a lot of this stuff because I don't believe I need all of this right now. The drawers, the pistons, and this. Going to put away the buckets as well, and put away the iron bars because we don't need those, and we're going to put away the string. So I've melted down a lot of stone, so we can make hardened stone quite easily. We just need to grab some cobble, which we also have an awful lot of. So if we make the digital guide, it's called, we need to make hardened stone, alabaster or basalt. Now because it's a void world, we don't have these two, and we can only get them from our void resource miner, but we can still jump into this tech very early with hardened stone. I know I'm going to need quite a bit of this, so I'm just going to make as much as I can for the moment, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to need even more than that. So where's the triple? There. So let's just grab a lot of cobblestone, and we can throw away the compressed. Yeah. So with the hardened stone and a book, we can make the book for the mod pack, which obviously we need a book, which is paper, and leather, which is over here. So let's make our book. Let's make our digital guide. And in the guide, you can check, these are the things we can have on this. We're actually going to use the assembler. We're probably going to make all of them, although they can't all be made. Lonsdaleite we won't need. Mica we'll get from our resources. So the void resource miner and ore miner, automated mining, basically, very useful. The beacon will provide us with buffs at all times, which is very useful as well. And we are going to make the solar array. So the first thing we want is a tier 1 solar array. We need to make 16 structure blocks tier 1 or above, 9 solar cells, and 4 modifier cores. So the structure blocks tier 1 or above, what we can do is if we go into our environmental and we say structure, you can see you can use basalt, alabaster, which we don't have access to, or hardened stone. So it said 16. So all we need is 16 hardened stone, gold and redstone. So I do need to go and grab some more gold and redstone just so that we don't run out. And we also need to make a little bit more hardened stone, and I know I'm going to need a bit more than that, so I'll just make 20, might be enough, we'll find out. So as I was saying, we need 16 of these, so there are 2 recipes, it's the same recipe just in different ways. And I actually need I'm gonna make 20. We're gonna need more later on anyway, so we're gonna have 20 for now. On top of that, so if we right click with the book again, we need 9 solar cells and 4 modifier cores. So modifier cores, also not expensive. Block of iron, stone and clear glass. Clear glass is just sand and nether quartz mixed together. So we need a stack of sand, a stack of nether quartz, and we will use this later on anyway, so I'll make more than we need. And we have this little machine here for now, so we can cook this up into clear glass. We could also do it in probably the alloy smelter or the tinker smeltery, but we're over here. The workshop table works just well enough. So while that's cooking up, we can see what else we need. So this 9 solar cells. So if we again check solar cell, it's not these because it's from environmental tech. So this will need more clear glass, which is good why we made more iron and redstone. That's fine. So this means we're going to need 27 photovoltaic cells, which are lapis and nether quartz. So we need nether and lapis, and we need 27 of those. So let's make these. Only 16 there means we need some more lapis. So we need another 11. With that we need iron, which we have, and redstone, which we have. And our clear glass, so 9, 3, so we need 27 clear glass as well. That's 26. We can just throw away that for the moment. So let's make our 9 solar cells, which is great. We also need our solar panel controller tier 1, so actually we need to make one more solar cell, it looks like. Yeah, and we need 4 blocks of gold. So let's make our blocks of gold, make sure we have 4, which we definitely do. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we need another solar cell, which is another 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. With another glass, great. With 4 electrical steel. The electrical steel we can make by mixing iron, coal and silicon in the alloy smelter, but our mob farm and our loot bags have given us this. So the reason why I've done this in this order as well is because now we have the alloy smelter. If you hadn't followed exactly but you still wanted to make this, you can easily make the electrical steel just by crushing coal down, exactly as I've just shown you in the sag mill, getting silicon by either cooking nether quartz or from a mob farm, and then just putting them together in the alloy smelter in alloy mode, and it will give you the electrical steel. So from this we can now make our solar panel controller. So we have our controller. We're also going to need to make the assembler. I mean, we don't have to, but it's just easier if we do because it will build for us. So the assembler is obsidian, obsidian and a tier 2 block. So if I go and grab 2 obsidian, and then we need to make a tier 2. So if we go to a hardened stone, press R, right click, tier 2 hardened stone is just standard hardened stone with 2 diamond and 2 redstone. That's good, we have some diamond. Then from this we should be able to make our assembler. So we can now put it together. We have these, we have our solar panels, and we have our hardened stone, and we have the heart of the solar panel. And Jesus, that's a 5th time. You see what this is what I'm having to deal with, all of this rain. Oh, okay. So what I want to do is, I don't want to build it in the current area. We do not have enough space for it. So I am going to make some more slabs, and we're going to connect this area. Good thing is, from our mob farms we have diamond ones now, which means this will be a lot quicker than normal. Although we could use iron, we could use stone. So if you haven't got these, you can make them quite easily, just like the other builders ones with 2 sticks and a diamond. Or you can just make iron ones if that is the easier resource for now. Diamonds are good because now you see we can build above, and it will allow us to put a lot more blocks in one go. Just be careful with the wands, because if I accidentally right click here, it will fill all of that with slabs. So I'll show you. Now I have to break every single one of them down. Be aware that if you do something like that, you can type /wand oops with the wand in your hand before you do anything else, and it will undo what you've just done. So if you've only done one mistake, and if you catch yourself, you can actually solve it by doing that. I've done it many times, so just don't forget that command because it saves you a lot of headache. I'm going to need a few more slabs because I do want to fill the chunk as always, just because of my OCD. And there, and there, and here. So we have our automation over here with our metal processing and transformation. Here we're going to start our power. So this, you can also see the size of it. So if I check in the book, it will tell me exactly the size that I need. So this is a 5 by 2 by 5. So it's going to be a 5 and a center block. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3. So here should be our controller. If we right click that, and then if we right click with our assembler on the controller, if we hold it down, it will actually build the solar array for us. And I feel like we didn't make our 4 modifier cores. So it's built everything, but it's not complete because we forgot to make the modifier cores. So let's just get those done, which were the clear glass and the block of iron. So we need 4 blocks of iron, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have clear glass, we need 4 of those, so I believe we needed 12 clear glass, which we should, yeah, we should have more than enough for that. So we've got 4 modifier cores. If we go back here now and carry on with the right click, it will put them and it will tell us when it's finished, assembly complete. Now this is generating a lot of energy. If I remember off the top of my head, it's something like 600 RF a tick. We can check anyway. This is the reason why we've made our capacitor bank, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make more and put them all around the bottom of this, and I actually probably will lower that by 1 as well. But for the moment, this is just to show you the power generation. So we'll stick these 2 on together and it will extend it out as a battery. This can take a maximum of 2,000. If I add 1 more of the capacitors, it will be 3,000 and 4,000. So you can increase the amount it can take in and give out. You can also configure it to, for example, input there, although it's working anyway. It will take out everything it can from the internal buffer. So you don't actually have to put a battery. You can just wire it up directly from this controller in the middle. But a battery is always good for a buffer, especially because this only works in the daylight. It will not work during the night time. And you can see it's giving 648 RF a tick, which is more power than we need right now. And I'm probably going to use that to help automate some kind of mining or resources very early. So we've done quite a bit on this episode. I know I've taken a little while to get to power. And next episode we're going to do some farming and some automatic hammer automation so that you have another few ways to progress with your resources. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. On the top is the most recent episode. It may not be this, but hopefully you'll still like it if you enjoyed this. On the right is the next episode in the series. On the left is the previous, and in the middle is me. Leave me a comment. Click on me, subscribe, like, dislike. Just let me know some feedback if you're enjoying this, and make sure you check out the file, because the reason this episode's a little bit later is because I put quite a bit of time into testing all of the different power options. So I hope it can come in handy to you. Take care, guys. Bye bye.